In this episode, I'll be taking a close look at a number of websites and a number of video clips that discuss what is called ley line energies and how it consists of pathways crisscrossing around the Earth. I do feel certain that I could make this into a multi-part series, though discussion on the topic will be voluminous and intense, of course. Now, when I hear the words ley line energy, it gives me a vision of a vast network of grid-like lines of some perhaps ancient esoteric frequency energy source that is exclusively and geophysically connected to the planet Earth. Much like silver energy cords that wrap around the globe that may require a special physical and or sound frequency mechanism to give the seeker even a minimal form of access to this energy pathway and network. And when I speak of sound and frequency, I mean it expressly, in that I remember someone performing an experiment where they tuned a device at 528 hertz. Some small amount of time passed, then through that tonement pulse came the apparent opening of a portal to another place. Now, here is a clip that I will show where it displays a what looks like a Bluetooth speaker that is powering the tone at 528 hertz and is about to show the portal over top of the bed. And just watch.
And already you can see a much more stable fracture. Okay. Probably hear the fluctuation there. There we go.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please be advised, I do not recommend you try this sort of activity. Please don't take this information literally. As such, if people ignore any warnings and commit to this activity anyways, you do this at your own risk. Don't say I didn't warn you against this. If that experiment did indeed yield those results, well, I would think the U.S. government or other federal agencies and other higher echelon agencies the world over would warn against this activity. Now, in continuing, I will read from a few websites to familiarize the audience with the subject. As I mentioned earlier, I've found a couple of websites. One in particular is medium.com, where there's a title here that reads The Mysteries of Ley Lines, A Journey Through Spiritual and Magical Energies. Further down it reads, These mysterious lines crisscrossing the globe have intrigued researchers, spiritual seekers, and mystical enthusiasts for decades. Ley lines are believed to be channels of energy that connect significant sites across the earth, creating a grid of spiritual and physical significance. They ask the question, what is a ley line? Ley lines are intriguing and somewhat controversial concepts in the study of geomancy and earth energies. They are often described as hypothetical alignments of landmarks, religious sites, and man-made structures that are believed to be imbued with earth energies. The idea is that these alignments form straight paths or grids across the landscape, creating a network of energy that impacts both the physical environment and metaphysical realms. A further descriptive origins of the concept. The term ley line was coined in 1921 by Alfred Watkins, an English antiquarian and photographer. Watkins proposed that ancient sites and megalithic structures such as stone circles, barrows, and church towers were deliberately arranged in straight lines across the landscape. His theory was that these alignments were not random but were intentionally constructed to harness and channel the Earth's energies. Watkins' ideas were influenced by his observations of ancient sites in England, where he noted that many of these sites seemed to fall in straight lines or alignments. He published his theories in a book titled The Old Straight Track, where he outlined his observations and hypotheses. According to Watkins, these alignments formed a network of energy pathways that connected significant historical and spiritual sites. Ley lines and landmarks. Ley lines are often associated with a variety of landmarks, both ancient and modern. These include ancient stone circles, structures like Stonehenge and Avebury in England, and are frequently cited as being situated along ley lines. These stone circles are believed to have been constructed to align with these energy pathways. Sacred temples. Many ancient temples, such as those in Egypt and in the Americas, are thought to be positioned along ley lines. The alignment of these temples is believed to have been purposeful, aimed at harnessing the Earth's energy for spiritual and ceremonial purposes. Modern buildings. Some proponents of ley lines extend their theories to modern architecture, suggesting that even contemporary structures and landmarks are intentionally aligned along these energetic pathways. For example, it has been suggested that certain skyscrapers and monuments are strategically placed to align with ley lines. Now, as far as this next part, I won't go too much further because, as I mentioned earlier, there's another website I wish to read information from the article, and then we will go straight to the video clips. Scientific perspective. The concept of ley lines has fascinated many, but it remains a topic of debate in the scientific community. While the idea of ley lines is widely accepted in various spiritual and esoteric traditions, there is little empirical scientific evidence to support their existence. Geophysical studies. To date, there have been no conclusive geophysical studies or experiments to have confirmed the existence of ley lines or their associated energies. Geophysical surveys, which measure the Earth's magnetic and gravitational fields, have not provided evidence of any unusual energy patterns along proposed ley lines. Statistical analysis. Some researchers have attempted to use statistical methods to test alignment of sites along ley lines. However, these studies often face criticism for methodological issues and lack of rigorous controls. Many of the purported alignments could be explained by chance rather than any inherited energetic or purposeful alignment. Psychological and perceptual factors. The perception of ley lines and their significance may be influenced by psychological and perceptual factors. Cognitive biases, such as the tendency to see patterns where none exist, can play a role in how people perceive and interpret alignments and energy patterns. And also, as told from the website known as the College of Psychic Studies, title reads, Mapping Ley Lines and the Earth's Energy Grid. What do Stonehenge, the Great Pyramid, and the College of Psychic Studies have in common? Ley lines. We map out the world's most powerful energy centers. Many students have suggested that the College of Psychic Studies at 16 Queensberry Place, London, is on a ley line and forms a crucial node on the Earth's energy grid. Having been a beacon of light and an important center for spiritual studies at this address for 100 years in 2025, we concur. However, there are official ley lines on the Earth grid that many of us in England are fortunate enough to have experienced firsthand. Here, we look a little closer at why ley lines in the greater context of Earth's energy grid are so interesting to us as spiritual seekers. Well, from the previous website, I have read about what are ley lines and where do they come from, and as far as the idea, the concept, but I will read down through this other part here further. Notable ley lines around the world. Of course, as Alfred Watkins, being British, favored the landscapes of England, marking St. Michael's ley line one of the most famous in the world. However, there are many more ley lines connecting sacred sites around the globe, and if you know what you're looking for in terms of energetic signature or imprint of a ley line, you will be able to start mapping them for yourself and can perhaps add to this list. Here are a few of the more famous ones to get you started. St. Michael's line in England, the Apollo Athena axis in Europe, the Paris Meridian ley line in France, the Nazca lines in Peru, the Rainbow Serpent in Australia, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, Mount Shasta in California, and the Serpent Mound in Ohio. Now, if that ain't enough, hey, maybe you gotta go search the whole globe and wherever else there may be that you could suspect or lines could be there. However, we're going to move on to the clips.
When you hear the term ley lines, you probably think of some mystical pathway with glowing lights and energetic lines. But the man that invented the term ley lines in 1921 was not a mystic at all. He was a businessman, photographer, and an amateur archaeologist. To Alfred, they were an actual ancient GPS system, and a way that the ancient civilizations navigated through their landscape, that the Romans had paved over and stole. But 200 years earlier to that, you had William Stukeley, who claimed that these straight tracks were actually giant ceremonial snake temples built by the Druids. So how did we get from practical paths to imaginary snake temples to a whole global Earth grid. Alfred Watkins discovered the term ley lines. It was in 1921 that he was looking on Ordnance Survey maps and realised that there were these ancient pathways that pass through sacred sites, stone circles, cathedrals, chapels, churches, burial mounds in the landscape.
There's a reason why in all the ancient ruins, ancient temples of Greece, it's forbidden to walk barefoot. If you walk into these temples with no shoes, they tell you to put shoes on. Why? The soles of our feet, the sole of our feet, is literally soaking up all the information from Earth constantly. When we walk barefoot, we're exchanging with the electrical charge of the Earth. We're balancing the charge of our bodies. And these temples, they're not built on random locations of the Earth. These temples are built upon ley lines. And the last thing the system wants you to do is walk barefoot on ley line points. Why? Ley line points, especially the parts where they intersect, are full of vital energy which can be harnessed by every single human being which is walking upon them, especially if they do so consciously. That's why we walk barefoot. Walking barefoot is not just a hippie thing. It's not dirty, on the contrary to what society will teach you. Walking barefoot is the one thing that can cure all diseases. All diseases. Just by walking barefoot, you can boost your immunity so high that you become immune to any virus, any disease, any seasonal flu. And if humans knew this, people would be lining up outside trash cans to throw their shoes away. These rubber soles of the shoes are actually blocking that electrical charge. And that's not by accident either. Who do you think thought of that? Someone who wants us to be in connection with the Earth? Or someone who doesn't want us to? And why don't they want us to?
What connects sacred sites, ancient stones, and centuries-old churches in a shimmering web of hidden energy? Let's talk blue ley lines. Blue vibration energy is a bit of a spiritual VIP rarely found just floating free in nature, but much more common as a ley energy, flowing along powerful pathways beneath our feet. These blue ley lines are the main energy highways at major sacred sites and every Neolithic stone circle. But here's the wild part. They often run almost perfectly straight from church to church, creating a kind of invisible energetic network. Why? Because many modern churches were built on top of ancient sacred grounds, tapping into those already supercharged Earth energy centers. Blue vibration shares some mystical traits with the more intense purple energy, but without the drama, except of course for its sheer power. There's a positive vibe to these flows. Even when a blue ley line passes right through a property, yes, there may be an energetic storm inside. It doesn't feel bad or negative. Instead, it often feels uplifting, peaceful, almost like you're in the presence of something bigger. Traditionally, these blue energies are linked to Saint Michael, while their more turbulent purple cousins connect to Saint Mary. So next time you step into an old stone church or wander a stone circle, remember, you might just be standing on a river of Earth's rarest, most spiritual energy. Blue ley lines connecting our world with the mysteries of the ancient past.
Well, alright folks, that was a comprehensive multi-part view on this subject so far. As I mentioned earlier in the video here, I will endeavor to continue this subject as opportunity permits, so I hope everyone watching has learned a bit on this, and also found some entertainment from it as well. So that will conclude this video for now, and I will see you in the next one. By the way, like, subscribe, and share. Also, feel free to leave a comment on this and anything else you feel necessary.